Hi, my name is Mark Hundley, and this is Live at 5 for a Friday. It's the third, I guess, about the third full week of July. It's getting near the end of July, and I'm hopeful that it is. I'm hopeful that it's a little warmer or cooler where you are right now. I'm hopeful that the weather gods have smiled down upon you, and it's less hot than it has been. So. Anyway, I'm hopeful that you're doing well. I appreciate you joining in with me and watching today. About a week ago, and I want to remind you, about a week ago I made a challenge. And it was a challenge related to either writing down and reading or reciting a particular little phrase, a one-sentence phrase. And that phrase was, I teach people how to treat me by what I will allow. Remember that? I teach people how to treat me by what I will allow. And my challenge was that you repeat or read that statement at least 5 times a day for a week. So today is that 7th day, right? So at least 35 times you were to have read or recited that statement if you took the challenge. Now, I took my own challenge. I worked really hard to do that. I really work to avoid challenging people to do things I'm not willing to do myself, right? So I really probably quoted that to myself at least 15 times a day. I found it purging. I found it enlightening. One of the things that I discovered as I was doing this myself was that I had some resentments built up towards some people and the way they treated me or the way they've been treating me, not just recently, but maybe over a longer period of time. And the more I would repeat that phrase to myself, I teach people how to treat me by what I will allow, I realized that my resentment was misplaced. My resentment was toward them when really it was toward me, the teacher. I'm the one who has been teaching people how to treat me. And so it caused me to stop and say, okay, Mark, if you want to be treated differently, if you want to be taken less for granted, if you want to have fewer expectations that are unrealistic placed on your shoulders, then you're going to need to teach people. You're going to have to retrain them on how to treat you. And so I took that challenge myself, and it was really interesting. So if you by chance decided to take that challenge, I would love to hear from you what happened in your thinking and in your feeling over the past week. It would just be interesting to me. Shoot me a text, shoot me an email, give me some sort of a feedback on that. But I found it interesting for myself. So way to go if you did it. On Wednesday, I talked a little bit to you about things that make me think, and the subtitle for that one was thinking, right? And we talked about William James' statement that very often we think that we're thinking when really we're rearranging prejudices, personal prejudices. So today I kind of want to follow up on that a little bit and talk about things that make me think and then shift to people who don't. So on Wednesday, I talked about sometimes thinking is really just rearranging our personal prejudices. Now, when we rearrange prejudices, we engage in something that's close to thinking, as William James said, but not really close enough. It may appear that we are thinking. However, we are merely relabeling and repackaging those personal prejudices that we have and putting them out there kind of in hopes that folks will buy the same old junk we've always peddled in the past without really realizing it. So today's video is the flip side of the one from Wednesday. The other side of this thinking coin is that there are times when we just don't think. We just don't think, period. We simply react. When we react, we operate essentially from the emotional seat of our being. We are driven by emotions that often hobble our abilities to deal effectively with the situations in which we find ourselves. When we are in a reactive mode, we are more susceptible to manipulation and coercion. We find ourselves vulnerable to some of those smooth-talking shysters that are often bent on using and abusing our goodwill and our good heart. When we choose to avoid thinking, we choose to give our minds and ultimately our hearts over to those who would use us. When we choose to avoid thinking, it limits possibilities. It closes doors. Hope is buried. It shuts down communication and weakens resolve. It corrals our courage and even endangers creativity. When I think about those who avoid thinking, and I guess we could all be lumped into that category from time to time, but when I think about those who avoid thinking, it causes me to think. It causes me to wonder what is behind the choice to disengage the brain. What causes us to go along with the crowd? What causes us to give up the struggle for understanding, enlightenment, insight? I'm afraid that the most dominant reason behind choosing to not think or not thinking is that thinking is just too hard sometimes. Effort is involved in weighing opposing perspectives. We might have to actually spend some time digging through the details. Imagine that. We might have to struggle. I'm afraid that we would many times, have someone tell us what to do, what to believe, what to think, and what to value. Now, the problem with not thinking is that there are plenty of people out there who know that there are people who do not think. And those people walk around like a roaring lion, seeking whom they may devour. Now, I don't know about you, but I, for one, really want to choose thinking over becoming some menu item. Don't you? I mean, doesn't that make sense? Think about it, won't you? I hope that you have a good weekend. I hope that you have some restful times planned. I hope that you practice some self-care. And like I said, it may be Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week. I'll let you know early enough that you can plug in. I really appreciate you being with me live at 5 or later, whatever it is that you found your time to do today. But I want you to take care of yourself. Thank you for joining me. I want you to take good care of that person inside and experience some peace. Take care. Thank you.